Hi, I'm Marty Nimko. Those of you who regularly follow this YouTube channel know that painfully aware that certainly all wisdom doesn't begin to reside within Marty Nemko. I tend to intersperse the writing of other people with my own, and as well as play the piano occasionally for you. And this is an example of what I think is a worthy essay for you to ponder. It's a long essay, so I didn't want to do the whole thing. It's over a 5,000 word essay, so I've edited it to what I think are the 1,000 words that you most need to hear. It's called The Meanings of Life by Roy Baumeister. He is professor at Florida State and author of many books, including Willpower, and provocatively titled, Is There Anything Good About Men? He'll argue yes in that book. In any event, here is that essay. Why would people ever choose lives that are more meaningful than happy, as they sometimes do? Well, let's start with this. Our research found 5 sets of major differences between happiness and meaningfulness. The first had to do with getting what you want and need. Not surprisingly, satisfaction of desires was a reliable source of happiness, but it had nothing to add to a sense of meaning. People are happier to the extent that they find their lives easy rather than difficult. Happy people say they have enough money to buy the things they want and the things they need. Good health is a factor that contributes to happiness, but not to meaningfulness. Healthy people are happier than sick people, but the lives of sick people do not lack meaning, according to his research. The second set of differences between happiness and meaning involved time frame. Happiness is about the present. Meaning is about the future. The more time people spend thinking about the future or the past, the more meaningful and less happy their lives were. If you want to maximize your happiness, it looks like good advice is to focus on the present, especially if your needs are being satisfied. Meaning, on the other hand, seems to come from assembling past, present, and future into some kind of coherent story. Social life was the locus of our third set of differences. Meaningfulness comes from contributing to other people, whereas happiness comes from what they contribute to you. Helping others can actually detract from one's own happiness, but increase the sense of meaning. We found echoes of this phenomenon when we asked our subjects how much time they spent taking care of children. For parents, caring for children was a substantial source of meaning, though it seemed irrelevant to happiness, probably because children are sometimes delightful and sometimes stressful and annoying. The depth of social ties can also make a difference in how social life contributes to happiness and meaning. Spending time with friends was linked to higher happiness, but was irrelevant to meaning. Having a few beers with buddies or enjoying a nice lunch conversation with friends might be a source of pleasure, but isn't very important to a meaningful life. By comparison, spending more time with loved ones was linked to higher meaning and irrelevant to happiness. The difference presumably is in the depth of the relationship. Time with friends is often devoted to simple pleasures without much at stake, so it may foster good feelings, while doing little to increase meaning. If your friends are grumpy or tiresome, you can just move on. Time with loved ones is not so uniformly pleasant. Someone has to pay the bills, deal with illnesses or repairs, and do other unsatisfying chores. And of course, loved ones can be difficult too, in which case you generally have to work on the relationship and hash it out. A fourth category of differences had to do with struggles, problems, stresses, and the like. Highly meaningful lives encounter plenty of negative events, which of course reduce happiness. Stress, problems, worrying, arguing, reflecting on challenges and struggles, all those are notably low or absent from the lives of purely happy people, but they seem to be part and parcel of a highly meaningful life. The transition to retirement illustrates this difference. With the cessation of work demands and stresses, happiness goes up, but meaningfulness drops. Do people go out looking for stress in order to add meaning to their lives? It seems more likely that they seek meaning by pursuing projects that are difficult and uncertain. One tries to accomplish things in the world. This brings both ups and downs, so the net gain to happiness might be small, but the process contributes to meaningfulness either way. To use an example close to home, conducting research adds immensely to the sense of a meaningful life. what could be meaningful, what could be more meaningful than working to increase the store of human knowledge? But projects rarely go as planned, and the many failures and frustrations along the way can suck some of the joy out of the process. The final category of differences had to do with doing things that express yourself. Even just caring about issues of personal identity was associated with more meaning, though it was irrelevant, if not downright detrimental, to happiness. The Austrian psychoanalytic thinker Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, emphasized a sense of purpose, which is undoubtedly one aspect, but perhaps not the full story of the meaningful life. My own efforts to understand how people find meaning eventually settled on a list of 4, quote, needs for meaning, and in the subsequent years that list has held up reasonably well. The first need is, indeed, for purpose. Frankl was right. Without purpose, life lacks meaning. A purpose is a future event or state that lends structure to the present, thus linking different times into a single story. Purposes can be sorted into 2 broad categories. One might strive toward a particular goal, like to win a championship, become vice president, or raise healthy kids, or toward a condition of fulfillment, happiness, spiritual salvation, financial security, wisdom. The second source of purpose is culture. Different cultures reward some choices more than others. The third need is for efficacy. It's not very satisfying to have goals and values if you can't do anything about them. People like to feel they can make a difference. The last need is for self-worth. People with meaningful lives typically have some basis for thinking that they're good people, maybe even a little better than certain other people. At minimum, people want to believe that they're better than they might have been had they chosen or behaved or performed badly. They have earned some degree of respect, self-respect, and perhaps that of others. The meaningful life then has 4 properties. It has purposes that guide actions from present and past into the future, lending it direction. It has cultural values that enable us to judge what is good and bad, and in particular that allow us to justify our actions and strivings as good. It is marked by efficacy, in which our actions make a positive contribution toward realizing our goals and values, and it provides a basis for regarding ourselves in a positive light as good and worthy people. People ask, what is the meaning of life, as if there is a single answer. There is no one answer, there are many. But a life will be meaningful if it finds responses to the 4 questions of purpose, value, efficacy, and self-worth. In any event, that's the essay called The Meanings of Life, written by Roy Baumeister. I'm Marty Nemko, and I do thank you for watching. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.